Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today, we're stepping behind the curtain of Hollywood's most transformative decades, the 1970s and 1980s, the era when makeup artists, creature creators, and special effects pioneers reshaped cinema forever. This was the birth of the modern blockbuster, and the rise of practical movie magic that still inspires filmmakers today. If you love classic films, behind-the-scenes stories, or the artistry that brings characters to life, you're in the right place. By the early 1970s, Hollywood was changing. Audiences wanted bigger stories, more realism, and creatures that felt alive. Makeup effects were no longer just about beauty or simple illusions. They were becoming a storytelling force. This shift built on the legacy of early pioneers like Jack Pierce. But the new generation of artists pushed the craft into uncharted territory. They experimented with foam latex prosthetics, new molding techniques, and mechanical enhancements that allowed faces and entire creatures to move in ways audiences had never seen. Films like The Exorcist and Jaws didn't just scare people. They proved that practical effects could shape the emotional core of a movie, making audiences believe in the unbelievable and feel the terror right in their seats. Then came 1977, and Star Wars changed everything. Suddenly, Hollywood realized that audiences were hungry for worlds filled with aliens, robots, and creatures that felt tangible. George Lucas's team blended prosthetics, masks, puppetry, and mechanical rigs to create a universe that felt lived in and real. This opened the door for a new generation of artists. Rick Baker, Rob Bottin, Stan Winston, names that would become legends. Their work didn't just support the story. It was the story. In An American Werewolf in London, Rick Baker delivered a transformation sequence so groundbreaking it earned the first-ever Academy Award for Best Makeup. In The Thing, Rob Bottin created shape-shifting nightmares that still hold up today. And in Aliens, Stan Winston expanded the xenomorph universe with the towering Alien Queen, a masterpiece of animatronics and biomechanical design. This was the golden age of practical creature effects, a time when imagination and engineering collided on screen. So how did these artists pull off such unforgettable illusions? They relied on a toolkit that blended art, science, and a little bit of madness. Foam latex prosthetics were key. They were lightweight, flexible, and allowed for incredible expressions. Animatronics, or mechanical puppetry, brought creatures to life with servo motors and complex rigs. They used bladder effects, inflatable sacs hidden under prosthetic skin, to create grotesque, pulsating transformations. Mechanical rigs were built to stretch, twist, or reshape prosthetics in real time, making the impossible look horrifyingly real. Often, they used hybrid builds, combining an actor in a suit with robotic elements for the most lifelike performance. These techniques required huge teams of sculptors, painters, engineers, puppeteers, and makeup artists, all working in perfect harmony. It was messy, unpredictable, and often exhausting, but the results were unforgettable. Even in today's digital age, filmmakers continue to return to practical effects. Why? Because there's something powerful about a creature that actually exists on set, something the actors can touch, react to, and genuinely fear. The 1970s and 1980s taught Hollywood that practical effects aren't just technical achievements. They're emotional tools. They ground fantasy in reality. They give weight to the impossible. When you see the Alien Queen stalk Ripley, you feel the threat because it's physically there, interacting with the environment and the actors. This era reminds us that creativity thrives when artists are given room to experiment, fail, and try again. It didn't just shape movies, it shaped imaginations for generations to come. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the blockbuster era of movie magic, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And let me know in the comments, which classic effects moment blew your mind the first time you saw it. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Hollywood history. Until next time, keep celebrating the artistry, the craftsmanship, and the wonder that make movies truly magical.